Imagine there is an island where 10 people live. The product of the whole island is apples. In this whole island, 10 apples are produced every year, and each person eats only 1 apple a year. Note that the only item that exists is these 10 apples. The people of the island decide to print paper money to exchange these apples more easily. Progress in human societies happens over time, and on a real-world scale, this is the creation of the first 1,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, which is located in present-day Iraq. I say in parentheses, if you are interested in the story of the origin of money and the overall formation of exchange tools in the story, comment so that we can do our duty and make a video for you dear ones. Oh, let's get to our topic. So $1 is printed for each apple. That means there are $10 in money and 10 apples. So now each apple is worth $1. Note that 10 apples and $10 include the entire economy and market of the island. Now suppose that in the new year a new technology for growing apples comes to the island, or the rainfall improves, or something happens altogether that causes us to harvest 20 apples in the new year instead of 10. This makes each dollar printed equal to 2 apples, because there were $10 in total. This concept is called economic growth. So, now we have learned about economic growth in simple terms. Now suppose this economic growth does not occur on the island, and in the new year there are only 10 apples like the previous year. And suppose the island's rulers become interested in printing money, and they say that this is valuable and we should have more of this valuable paper. So they print another $10. You're smart, because now you can guess what happened. Each apple will be worth $2, because the number of dollars has doubled and the number of apples has remained the same. And that means the value of the dollar held it. Now we have learned the concept of inflation in very simple language. We have understood that if the ruler is a stupid or incompetent person, he will print more money regardless of economic growth. Know that inflation is not a bad thing if it is at the level of 2 or 3%. Rather, inflation of 2 to 3% is necessary and desirable for the economy, because if prices are fixed or we have negative inflation, meaning that the prices of goods become cheaper, people will be less inclined to buy now, because they think that if they buy it later, it will be cheaper. And this will cause stagnation and the economy will not turn. Note that economic growth on a real-world scale does not necessarily lead to cheaper goods, because the real-world economy does not have just one good, but rather growth spreads on the entire economy. The duty of the central bank is to strike a proper balance between money printing and economic growth. This is also the philosophy of Bitcoin, which we will make a full video about it soon. That is money whose amount does not increase and whose amount always remains constant in the world. So, what is the government doing in the meantime? There are people on this island who have been able to collect more apples, given their circumstances. Well, the number of apples was limited. So in this case, some people no longer have apples. So these people will go hungry. This means riots and chaos on the island. The government has a duty to come in before this happens and tax the people who have collected more apples and give them to the people who need them. This means that the government has a duty to keep that island stable and prosperous. It's the same in the real world. The government has a duty to stabilize conditions so that you and I can learn and progress together in safety. Providing security, health, and education are important examples of these duties. Suppose that in the corner of our hypothetical island there live people who have not received proper education and have become people who steal, vandalize, and commit several other crimes. If you consider the impact of these communities on their own future generations, we find that not investing in their education will cause much greater damage to the island. This is an example of the big picture that governments have. So, in this video, we learned what is duty of the government and central banks, and we learned what is economic growth, inflation, and recession. Note that we have tried to explain these themes in the simplest way possible, and if we wanted to focus on each of them, we would have to find dozens of books about them and talk about for each one for days, so that we could examine them professionally. That is, you are interested in these topics, you can read more about them. We will also do our best to produce more educational videos for you, my dear. So be sure to subscribe to us now. I wish you a good day, full of God's blessing. May God keep you safe until the next video.